Okay, I'll speak to it in two different ways. If you are using a third party as a host for your site, for example, so you need to be very careful with the kind of host that you use. Say you use one of the reputable ones. Ideally, they will take measures, they will take measures to secure your site. So if, for example, let's say you use GoDaddy, for example, which is one of the very big ones and reputable ones, they would make sure that they don't have ports that are open. They make sure that their servers are well patched, that they don't have, they are not exposed to known security flaws. And, they essentially ensure that your site is secure. But from a personal point of view, you also need to make sure that you're keeping like daily backups, or maybe not daily backup or weekly backups. Anyway, you need to have like a recovery plan, to make sure that your information, you're pulling it away from just one location. So that, if anything happens, you can. But if you're hosting yourself, say for example, you buy a dedicated server and then you put your information yourself, then you also need to make sure that all that process of patching the server, making sure that ports are not open. Because one of the most common ways of people accessing your server and getting information out of it is when people just leave things open. So maybe I should draw an analogy with this all, for example. It is more secure for us, even if you have 5 doors here, to have just one door open and close the other ones because we're not using them, than to have all the 5 doors open. And have people trying to manually monitor who is entering through 5 doors. It's always more work to protect 5 doors than to protect 1 door. So ports are like they're channels of communication between computer systems. So from a personal experience, at the time in my business, we left all our ports open because we were trying to configure something, and then we left it open. And we were having attacks from some random people from, I think, Ukraine or Russia. And they were just able to exploit our open ports and then log into the server, change our password, and completely denied us access from our own server. And they sent us an email to say we should make a payment before, they give us our server back. But luckily, we had a backup of about maybe 6 days old, and then we essentially lost information for those number of days, and then we closed all our ports. So something like this would probably not have happened if we were using a third-party reputable host. But because we were doing it ourselves, and we didn't take the right measures, we were exposed to that kind of problem. I think it's someone here.
Thank you very much. It's interesting that mymusic.ng, somebody from My Music, is talking about cybersecurity. Being a cybersecurity expert myself, I want to appreciate you for doing a very good job, because cybersecurity, as I see it, is something that you talk about especially when you're passionate about it, and a lot of people don't know the need to take care of cyber, like their security online, until they are a victim. And it is, I want to urge everyone listening to probably take note of what he's saying. But I have a question, and my question is not for me, but maybe it's going to help people. Okay. You run mymusic.ng, and I believe you just made an example of something that happened. Maybe it's to you.
Yes.
And now, most people, I believe a lot of people that are here would be like customer of mymusic.ng. They may want to pay for maybe a music on the site with, going through your site, I know you use USSD to pay, and then you also use credit card, right?
So we use airtime and
airtime and card. So and there are a lot of sites on the internet that they use that kind of a thing. Now, as a user of such service like your own, how can we protect ourselves from being a victim? Like, let's say, for mymusic.ng, somebody can clone your site. You talk about phishing. How can they? What are the tips you want to give us to protect ourselves as a user of sites, technology-based, internet-based technology, to protect ourselves from it? Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you for that question. That's a bit more technical, but I'll just try and explain in layman terms. So what you're saying is that from users' point of view, like customers' point of view, that transacts with businesses, how can you protect yourself? And then what is the business doing to also protect the customers? Okay, so I'll take the first one. So when we started my music, we realized that, first of all, there were not a lot of people using their cards online. It's a combination of not having too many cards and people also being very skeptical because there's a huge trust deficit. So we have done a lot of research, and our approach to solving that problem at the time was to use airtime as a form of payment. Now, when you use airtime as a form of payment, you're not parting with your financial details, and that's why some of the telcos are very successful using CRBT, caller back tunes, because it's not like anybody's asking you for your bank details. It's the credit that you have on your phone. Your exposure to fraud at that time is maybe the 1,000 naira that you have on your phone balance. So what we did was that we integrated with all the telcos, and then we did this thing called direct telco billing, so that we are able to charge your phone account directly, when you click on download on the site. Now, coming to the card bit. So initially, like I said, because there was a lot of trust issues, because our service is available globally, and if you have your card anywhere in the world, you can access you can make payments using a card. So our approach to solving it at the time was we registered in the US, and we used one of the popular payment gateways. But over time, over the last few years, you've had a few companies like Paystack and Flutterwave come around. They've been able to do it right, and because we don't collect your card details, when you want to make a payment on my music, for example, and this is something you should always watch out for, make sure that you're not putting your card details in a site that you don't trust. Even if you don't trust the site, you are better off putting your card details in a payment processor page like Paystack, for example, because they've passed all the security certifications, all the security certifications like PCI DSS and all that. These are just technical terms for information security certifications. But what I'm saying essentially is, be mindful of where you put your card details. And if a merchant is trying to collect your card details directly onto the site, you need to make sure that you trust that merchant. Now, if the merchant is calling out to a payment processor page like Paystack or InterSwitch, then obviously you have trust in InterSwitch and you have trust in Paystack, so it's not a problem. For phishing, like you said, so the prerogative is on the business owner to look out for people that are trying to clone their websites or their web application, and petition the host of that website to bring it down. So say, for example, somebody in this room just goes tomorrow and creates something that looks like my music and is blasting SMS out, and then he's just collecting money from people. The prerogative is on us, which is what we do, to keep looking out for people that are doing things like that. And every website is hosted somewhere. So once you petition the ISP that is hosting it, they would always take it down.